Hey guys, welcome to another New World video. With the release of Brimstone Sands drawing ever closer every day, I thought we could talk about a few important things we can do to prepare. None of these are entirely mandatory, but they will put you in a much stronger position moving into Brimstone Sands, which we all know can be important, especially if you're a returning player who will be looking for a new home in a new company, or a way to develop some wealth quickly so you can get caught up. So first, let's talk about cooking. The most important thing here is that you make sure you've maxed your cooking skill. Most have, and if you haven't, this skill is a breeze and can be maxed at very little cost. The reason this will become very important moving into Brimstone Sands is because some very interesting cooking recipes are being added to the game with this update. The first is of course that they are adding a whole new set of plus 40 stat foods to the update, which I don't really need to explain why anyone would want to be able to make these. These are always something that you should want to be able to make, to be able to use and sell for a huge amount of coin. Also, they have added this interesting cocktail Desert Sunrise, which reduced the duration of dots damage over time by 17.5% for 40 minutes. Your health slowly recovers while under these effects. I believe this to be an important food moving into Brimstone Sands because it will work very well to counter the damage like acid, which can tend to be a problem in those areas in the new zone. These recipes will all be found, as they always have, in ancient coffers, chests, supply crates, very much the same as we are used to. But having the ability to learn these and cook these foods early will turn over a decent amount of coin on the market or give you that edge that you will need to speed up your progression into Brimstone Sands. Also, with the Turkulon event coming up very soon, if this event is the same as last year, having your cooking skill maxed and getting the turkey legs is always a great way to get stocked up on luck food. Because when you have mastered cooking, you can turn one turkey leg into many food, giving you a chance to stock up enough to last the entire year until Easter. While we're on the topic of cooking and Brimstone Sands, another important thing to farm will be sturgeon. And no, not the summer event sturgeon, that's all over with, just regular sturgeon. These can be caught in First Light, Monarch's Bluff, Reekwater, Brightwood, Morningdale, Great Cleave, and of course in the future Brimstone Sands. The reason these will be important to stock up on moving into this patch will be because of the byproducts from salvaging them. Most importantly, the fish roe. This is because in Brimstone, almost everything you can cook will require fish sauce as an ingredient, and these new recipes will be something people will be wanting to cook. As you can see here, these will also require delicate fish fillets. These of course are a bit more common on the market at the moment, but in time the supply will dwindle. So it might also be a good idea to have a nice stockpile of these on hand. Delicate fish fillets are of course only salvaged from sharks, swordfish, electric eels, and stingrays, and many of these fish overlap with the territories for the sturgeon that you will be after anyway. I won't get into the required luck you will need to catch each of these fish, as I have made an in-depth guide on this already, which of course I will link in the description. But I will say, this is an opportunity for you to actually earn some gold fishing, so if you haven't maxed your fishing skill yet, now is a great time to do so while you stockpile some of these materials. The next thing that is pretty easy to farm, but will be very in demand in Brimstone Sands, will be corrupted lodestones. These you will of course get by clearing portals around the map, even the level 25 ones. So be sure to at the very least do your 2 per day for your bonus pouch to receive your 1000 coins. For one, it's a free 1000 coins for only a few minutes effort. But also, these corrupted lodestones are one of the primary materials in the heart runes. And heart runes are going to be a very, very important part of this patch. So you can imagine how gouged and overpriced the market is going to be for these stones. So having a bunch of these on hand ready to post moving into the patch will put you in a position to make massive gold. Another material while we're on the topic of heart runes is pristine sapphires. Right now these are in great supply, but this won't last. Them being used both for the new gems as well as the major ingredient in a heart rune will quickly make the supply dwindle that currently exists in the economy. So having a decent stockpile of these now will be a good idea for later. These may not make you rich overnight, but they will see an increase in value to double if not more due to the demand. A very, very important thing to stay on top of in the days leading up to the patch will be your daily cooldowns. I know everyone always says that before a patch. People always say the prices of the rare materials will go up based on the new items in the game, and it rarely actually does. But things are going to change very soon, and this time the consumption will outweigh the production in a massive way. In this patch, they are introducing new legendary bags, legendary tools, new armor sets for acid resistance, and of course the Great Sword. Never before in the game's history have we seen such an influx of new and very desired items all at once. And if you have ever rolled bags or tools, you will know that getting 600 first of all is not an easy task. And then to get a 600 with the desired perks, even harder. And people with deep pockets, RMTers, and large companies will be rolling these all day. You will see a market price increase on rare materials that will be unprecedented. So do not miss a day. Have as many of these items on hand as you can, and do not sell them in the first few hours of the release. Wait for the supply to be used up, then start posting, and only post in small batches. This way, you will maximize your profit potential. It will also be a good idea to have at least 2 counterbalances on hand. because right now these are cheap, but they will see a temporary increase. Sure, if you can find them super cheap, buy extras, because it seems the greatswords, at least on the PTR at the moment, are bind on equip, so sellable. However, this may change before live, so I wouldn't go too crazy on these, but better to get them now before the prices go crazy. Now, on the topic of materials and daily cooldowns, if you are a newer or a returning player, check your trade skills. These weeks leading up to the release of Brimstone are critical for you to take the time to both max your gathering and refining skills, both so you can have the opportunity to gather new materials in Brimstone area because new stuff always makes huge coin early in new content, but also so you can produce your refining materials. It will be important to max all of these skills, and as far as crafting goes, if you're behind I wouldn't sweat these too much, as you likely won't have the trophies or crafting sets yet anyhow to really make use of them. However, stone cutting and weaponsmithing will be important, so try to get these as close to 180 as possible, so you at least will have access to the new recipes for this new content. Most important though will be gathering and processing. These are always important and can be your ticket to easy coin, and especially now with so many new materials and stuff to farm. I know you will be right now thinking to yourself, this is going to be boring, but you're forgetting a couple of variables here. If you've been playing MMOs for any length of time, you will know that there exists in the community a group of players who simply can't stand to be left behind. They will do anything, spend anything to be prepared. This is why leveling your gathering and processing skills right now will be beneficial to you to work on, now more than ever. Not only will you put yourself in a power position in the new areas having access to everything you can farm and gather, but also pre-patch. You can monopolize off of those that are hard grinding their trade skills to be ready. Posting the stuff you're farming now like fiber, wire weave, star metal, even iron. These right now are at the highest rates ever and are selling almost instantly. Pages and pages of buy orders sitting waiting to be filled. So doing so will fill your coffers with coin that will make moving into this new area a ton more pleasant. Another thing to hold on to because of some new crafting stuff being added is timeless shards. Mostly the ones that are currently rare and expensive, like light pants, ones like that. These already right now can be rare, and can be thousands of coin to purchase because of the rarity and desire to craft them in BIS. Well, once the scarab gets introduced, this will see a massive spike. You see, people are shitting on the scarab saying it makes crafting BIS too easy. And yes, in some ways I do agree. But in others, I don't. And this is a big part of why I don't. Normally to make gear it will cost you 1 timeless shard to select 1 perk. However, with the scarab it will require 3. So having these rare timeless shards eaten up 3 per roll will make them dry up pretty fast, especially because with everyone questing through the new zone, we will see less expeditions being run for a few days. Which of course leads me to my next tip, which is perk items. These already can get expensive because you require 10 per roll with a timeless shard. Well, with the scarab this will cost 25 per roll. So it doesn't take a money expert to see here that the supply will drop while the demand will skyrocket. Now for these, you won't have to farm them directly. All of the craft mods can be farmed by simply farming some of the more easily obtained perk items, then taking them to the kiln and crafting the ones you want. Do this whenever possible to be ready for this huge influx and players needing them in great supply. And finally, and this one's obvious, try to push your gear. Every slot as close as possible to 600. This nowadays is not difficult and can easily be done in a week, but it can be boring at times and frustrating. But it is very, very important right now. So just buckle down and get it done. This is because they are changing the Umbral Shard system in this update. Notably the amount it takes to upgrade gear, to make it more linear as they say, which is true, but also changes the prices to upgrade gear overall. So if you look at this chart, you will see that leveling gear to 620 pre-patch, then stopping and waiting till post-patch to level to 625 is your best option for being efficient with your Umbral Shards. And having Umbral Shards in this patch will be a must, with them being the materials for the Heart Gem runes. The good thing here though is that once your gear is all 620, getting Umbrals becomes pretty trivial, even from the Gypsum cast. Not to mention the amount you get from mutations that you can run now that your gear is solid. So taking this big step before Brimstone Sands will pay off in how fast and smoothly your character will progress afterwards. Okay guys, well that's all for today. There are of course many other things you can do that I didn't mention in this video just for the lack of time, but I've had many people asking if it's even worth playing before the patch, and yes it is always my answer. It may not be super fun, engaging, and exciting to do so, but these things, if done before the launch, will make playing after the patch a ton more fun. Do you want to be the guy that's stuck hitting a wall and then being forced to farm and grind early on in a new patch when everyone else is pushing through the content? I sure don't. So having it all ready to go now, so that it won't be necessary, will make the whole experience that much the better. If you can think of anything important I missed that you think will aid players moving into this release of this patch, feel free to share it in the comments. The goal I have when I make these videos is to help the community progress as fast and as smoothly and as happily as possible. So anything that you can share that will help other people to do that, I always love. Also guys, I just wanted to give everyone a big heads up about the channel's Patreon. I'm not generally the type to advertise on my videos, but many members of my community have asked me to do this, so here we are. So why should you join up to my Patreon? Well, it's simple. I don't make enough off my YouTube channel to do this full time, and any contribution to the channel I will use directly for content for you guys. That's first and foremost. But also, I will be doing monthly giveaways for Patreon members only, and certain videos moving forward such as gold guides, anything that might have a huge impact on the in-game economy. Any of those videos will be available for patrons only for 48 hours before I publish them on YouTube publicly, so that it might give my patrons a leg up before the market adjusts as it always does when I post those types of videos. So guys, if you want to support me and the channel in making content, please look in the description and find my Patreon link. And if you can't or simply don't want to, please hit the like button and subscribe, as it helps me a great deal also. And to those already doing all of these things, thank you so much. You're the ones who make these videos possible, and I really truly thank you. Okay guys, that's enough of that. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.